Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. Bruntz, speaking of spending some time in the state of Nebraska, we've got some visitors this weekend and a little event down at the Battle of the Boneyard. Are you going to be down there?
Yeah, all day on Saturday.
What are we looking for?
Well, so who's going to be there? Part of it is 7-on-7 is notoriously fraught with what's the best way to put this? Very changeable rosters.
Sure.
And even more so when it's over a visit period time, even more so when it's middle of summer. So that's the biggest thing, because I think with the teams that we know are going to be there, there is some potential for some pretty big names to come into town, but who actually makes it in is what I'm looking for first.
Go ahead. Sorry.
As I say, I think the other thing, you kind of look at, specifically which 28s and 29s are there, because I think what you saw last year for Nebraska was they got a lot of bounce with like the sophomore class, or guys that were going into their junior years last year. It's a camp, but it's essentially, an all day unofficial visit for these players. And it's got a little bit of extra buzz to it too, just because you have the competition aspect. There's a lot of top teams that are there, and it's a really good event. It's a really tough event to run, I think, and I think Nebraska's done a good job of maximizing it. But there's not many chances in college recruiting where you get like 16 teams of really elite players just coming to your school for a day and seeing everything. So that's the value in the event. There's they've teased the hell out of the big surprise at the end of the tournament on Saturday night. And so we'll see. I mean, it was a good event last year, and I'm expecting it to be again this year. I mean, I think Nebraska deserves a lot of credit for being the first to move on something like this and to do it in an organized way and leveraging the shoe contracts that they have to make a lot of that happen.
Bruntz, I don't know how much you know on just like the inside of it, especially with this just being the second year of Battle of the Boneyard, but what does that experience look like for the teams that are coming in? So obviously, like you mentioned, there are, the changing names and rosters and who's coming in and who's actually on a visit for Nebraska, all that sort of stuff too. But if it's just a general 7-on-7 team that's arriving in Lincoln to compete in Battle of the Boneyard, do they get a really good feel of the facility for Nebraska? Obviously, they're playing at Memorial Stadium. How much of the insight do they get to what it looks like to be part of the Husker football program just from general competition?
Well, think of it this way. You got schools from teams from California, teams from Florida, you got teams from the East Coast, teams from across the Southeast. And a lot of those players are not going to easily make it to Nebraska. Like, that's just, the geographic realities of where Nebraska is and a lot of this talent is. So just getting them there is huge. Last year they had games inside the Hawks. They had games in Memorial Stadium. Teams were hanging out, walking through the facilities that were, actually finally done. I mean, that's the other piece of it too, is like, Nebraska having a done and finished practice facility that you can walk recruits through. It's still a relatively new thing. Like, and I think they got a lot of it's eye-opening with what they've got there. So you get to see that stuff. You get to kind of see the wow things. I'll be curious to see what they get crowd-wise. Like, I think that'll kind of add a little bit of juice too. I know they were at 5,500 free tickets had been claimed already, and that was like 2-3 weeks ago. So. Maybe they get a little nice little crowd. That was something that back in the old Friday Night Lights days that always kind of resonated with recruits, was just seeing, people that showed up in a random June night to watch camp. I mean, that's not a common thing. So I mean, they get a sense of everything and kind of how the facilities look. They get to meet Nebraska coaches. The coaches get to evaluate the players and kind of see how they play and compete. I know last year there were several offers that went out based on how guys performed at the camp and in the tournament. So it's a unique experience, and I think more so what's important is you just get a lot of these kids to Nebraska that on their own would not be making unofficial visits and seeing things.
Is it overstating, kind of to your point earlier about the impact that this event had last year on guys going into their junior year? Is it overstating that this was a pretty major factor last year on Ahmad Hudson kind of getting Nebraska into his final two, and some people still believe Nebraska's still in that one?
I mean, it was definitely a big event. I mean, it was good for, him and Trey being able to play together on the same team. The thing you have to remember though too, in addition to the 7-on-7 tournament last year, Huddle also had their huge event as well. So Ahmad Hudson was actually in town for that event, and kind of did both. And so, the combination of those two things, I think there was a lot of impact made there. And you saw the guys that were in there for that event. Albert Simeon was in for that one. Hudson, certainly a number of guys that, Nebraska was kind of in the mix for. So they kind of got the double bounce from that. But I mean, I think that event and kind of getting to play with Trey was really big. Bryce Williams is in the class now. He was up here for that event last summer. And, it's also, an opportunity to kind of build relationships with these 7-on-7 programs where, I mean, they do hold a lot of sway in terms of, relationships and kind of helping kids through the recruiting process. So that's another piece of it too.
You mentioned Albert Simeon there, and obviously Nebraska had him in a couple weeks ago, waiting on some decisions from guys they had in last weekend as well, from Kittrell and Kuhn. Are you still holding out some level of hope for Nebraska with the Albert Simeon situation?
Not. I think they're running further down the pack than where they've been. And part of that's just A&M. I think A&M or Notre Dame are probably the two to pay attention to. LSU certainly being closer to home is one as well, but Nebraska put their best foot forward with that. They got him back for the official visit. He unofficially visited multiple times. He actually stayed last year and went through an offensive line camp too after that event. So, it's I think the other linemen you mentioned, I think, are more likely at this point than Simeon. It just feels like Nebraska took its swing, but there's a little bit momentum with some of the other schools that are in on him.
Bruntz, do you see this as maybe being another big weekend for Nebraska to maybe garner a couple more of commits, or is this more of just getting, like you mentioned earlier, just getting kids on campus and just giving them the Nebraska experience and maybe continuing to build on some of those relationships?
Well, I mean, for the official visit weekend, it's a little bit of a different weekend just because it's going to be a lot of guys who are already committed. And that's, going to change the visit weekend a little bit. Certainly
We lose him?
We might have.
We might have lost our guy Bruntz here.
Dang. Usually that's like he gets a call or something like that. So
spot all things.
Get you back?
You still there?
Oh, there you are. We lost for a minute there, Bruntz.
I'm just talking.
Yeah. Could you start back on what you were saying just from the start of that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I think the one to pay attention to is Khalil Taylor of the uncommitted guys. Getting him to take the visit is big. I think for a while that visit's kind of been, or the recruitment had kind of been trending towards Penn State. But Nebraska has connections in Pennsylvania. They have connections to him. He has very strong connections from playing with Trey Taylor in 7-on-7. And, I think Nebraska is going to have a decent shot to go in there and make a pretty good impact with him. I don't know if I cut out before I said it, but this weekend's a little bit of a different visit weekend because many of the official visitors are already in the class. And that kind of gives it a different feel, though. If you've got a small group of guys that are uncommitted and you're just hanging out with guys that have already raised their hand and said yes and joined the class, and that's a little bit of a different feeling around the visit. And I think that's okay. I think that maybe allows you to focus in on some of the guys that you're trying to close. So, but I think Khalil Taylor's the big one. Definitely Nebraska getting him to change around his visit schedule and to take that visit, I think shows there's some momentum there.
How much do you think it matters with the guys that will be here, not on unofficial visits, but Battle at the Boneyard, to have kind of that same atmosphere you're talking about with, Trey Taylor and Torrey Pittman and Tay Ellis, like all those guys that you mentioned that are already committed? Like, how much impact do you think that has on the Battle of the Boneyard guys that are going to be there as well, that aren't on official visits here?
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where, the official visitors and the tournament, it's a little bit, it's separate, right? Like, you have guys kind of going through the official visit stuff. They have their own schedule. It's not necessarily just kind of like hanging out around the facility. And so, yeah, I don't know that there's a ton of impact there. Maybe having Trey or some of those committed guys, come in and maybe bump into somebody or talk to somebody that they know. I mean, maybe there's some value there, but like last year, that they had officials in that weekend as well. It was a really busy weekend, and the guys popped in and kind of saw the stadium and saw the tournament, but it wasn't like a huge part of the visit. You know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of like, hey, let's see the stadium. Here's the guys, playing, that kind of thing. So I don't know if there's a ton of impact, but I mean, if there's a 28 wide receiver that you're interested in and you're Nebraska, why not have Trey Taylor go up and talk to him? Like, there's probably some value in that.
Bruntz, I'm just curious, and I know you got to get going here in a minute too, but we talk so much just in the form of the media, on social media and everything, about the public persona of Trey Taylor and kind of what he's done for the recruitment and everything. Do you know what does he have, like, lack of a better phrase, does he have like an aura around him when he talks to some of these younger recruits and guys that he's maybe not in his class, but in the 28s or even like in the future classes of these kids coming up? Does he have that presence that people recognize and these other future prospects kind of take a different stance with him when they're talking to him comparative to maybe some of the Nebraska football staff or some of the other recruiters that Nebraska has?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the value of peer recruiting, right? And I think that's, for everything that, is different about recruiting now than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, it's still a relationship business. And, part of that is, the having a relationship with the coaches and staff, and like that part's important. But I think when it's coming from one of your peers or somebody that's only a year older than you, there's a little bit more value to that. Like, it's somebody that understands what your experience is. It's somebody that understands the decision that you're having to potentially make. And I think that there's certain recruits that are just really good at talking. They just kind of have that it factor. And it's, I think Trey is that way. I don't think that he, hard sells guys. But, I think he just kind of has that kind of personality that guys kind of gravitate to. Also doesn't hurt that, he's the number one quarterback in America right now. There's also that piece of it. So, when you've got a quarterback that's going to the Elite 11 and performing the way that he has, when, you have the star power behind your name, when you go to these 7-on-7 tournaments and these events and perform at a really high level, that all gets guys' attention. So, there's still a lot of value in guys kind of doing the peer recruiting thing. And I think the thing that's unique about Trey is how much from basically the time he committed to Nebraska, he's been a willing worker in that way, because he's very unique in that way, not only of how willing he is to do that, but also just the effectiveness that he has in doing it as well.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month, or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $349 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. 2 great Chevys, one big June event. Slide into a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for just $399 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
Make sure you get to unionomaha.com to get your tickets. Their next match, Wednesday, July 1st. It's presented by Nebraska Medicine. It's their Stars, Stripes, and Soccer game against AV Alta FC. Union Omaha is where it's at. 7 p.m. Morrison Stadium for the Stars, Stripes, and Soccer match on Wednesday, July 1st. Get to unionomaha.com for your tickets.
For Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps, Austin Jacobsen and Jacob Padilla here as we wrap up day one of pool play here at the NebPreps 7v7 state championship, whatever you want to acronym, all that good stuff. But great, excellent day, great weather, and some great football out there today. Let's start at the top. Pool A started bright and early this morning at 9. Some excellent play to start.
Yeah, eventful start. We had a 3-way tie at the top of the pool to win the pool, and everybody qualifies for the bracket, but obviously the seeding helps in your run to win it. So winning that pool was important, and came down to 1-point differential. It's points scored as the first tiebreaker. We had 3 2-1 teams, and Lewis Central got a stop in the final minute of their final game to edge out Bellevue West 80-79 in total points scored. to win the pool. So Bellevue West also finished second. Central was the other team that went 2-1 there. All three teams showed some good things there, but credit to Lewis Central for pulling that out as a clutch stop at the end.
Yeah, the team across the river able to kind of get that last stop, but obviously makes for more excitement the rest of the day as then they moved into the Pool B play.
Yeah. Pool B was Omaha West Side won it 3-0. No surprise. Obviously, you've got Braylon Warren, Missouri commit quarterback there. And obviously they're working in a lot of new pieces. I thought Bryce Johnson popped. They had a couple long touchdowns in there. Obviously, they had a lot of different guys make plays. Micah Benning had a few plays on defense, a couple interceptions there. So I think they're going to be tough here as we move into bracket play for sure.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more just about Braylon and kind of everything that's happened with Westside over this past summer to where we see them now. I thought Braylon looked very confident, and you mentioned it. A lot of new weapons for them, a lot of new faces that are new to this Westside, maybe not to, Class A fans and fans that are used to seeing some of these names like Bryce Johnson, Tay Jenkins, all these sort of guys. But he looked very much in control and looked like he was very confident, especially after maybe a shaky start in that first game.
Yeah, and bounce back from a couple interceptions there to immediately throw a beautiful one-play touchdown strike to Bryce Johnson up the field. Working in Tay Jenkins out of the backfield, so just kind of making use of all his receivers there and showing total mastery of the field. I will say, in that P also, we had the first game winner of the day. Millard West scored a touchdown at the buzzer to finish second in the pool, go 2-1 there. So good showing by the Wildcats today as well.
And then, of course, drama continued into Pool C as we started to see a little bit more of the competitiveness and some of those juices starting to flow with some of these teams that have a little bit more of local flair.
Oh, yeah, and Millard South ended up winning the pool. A couple close ones, and then they got into a groove. Tay Ellis isn't playing today. He'll play in the bracket play tomorrow, so that'll be another guy in the mix for them. Obviously, Trey Taylor showing off probably the play of the day where he must have ran 40 yards. Like, they blitzed him. He somehow escaped, sprinted all the way to the other side of the field, threw back across his body, and the dude stretched out, caught it over the top of defender in the end zone there. So single best play I saw all day was made by the Husker commit there. And then Bennington went 2-1. They're bringing a lot back. Taibu off a KO quarterback. Two of their top three receivers as well. Both made plays today, Lane Malachik and Parker Douglas. So forgetting Bennington's moving up to Class A next year. They've got a nice little core coming back, though, to make that transition.
Yeah, I thought of all the teams that kind of stood out today. Bennington really stood out to me the most, and they do bring back plenty of talent. Obviously, 7-on-7 isn't necessarily replicable of what they're going to be playing when they get into the fall, but I thought they had a really good competitive day against some of Omaha's best, and also to mention, too, Bergen Catholic. I mean, they kind of held their own there for a little bit, even against Millard South and Trey Taylor.
Yeah, it's a good quarterback. I thought it was pretty impressive for them. Obviously, it's new guys stepping in there. They've got Cale Sheets back at wide receiver, who's been prolific for them as well. So Bergen, I mean, 7-on-7 is nothing new for them the way they played previously. So good showing for them, like you said.
And obviously, before we move on to the next pool, Trey Taylor, as good as advertised, is what appeared. You mentioned he had the play of the day. First time I've seen him in person, and I can tell you that it is a difference, the way that he throws the football compared to what we've seen a lot of quarterbacks that have come through the state of Nebraska that have played here at 7-on-7 championships. Everything about him and just kind of the presence that he brings. What were your first takeaways from seeing him live in person?
Yeah, just arm talent is great. Some of the throws that he made, just dropping it in a bucket and way down the field. Got all his receivers involved, and that's why I talked to him after, and that's kind of like his mindset going into this is like, hey, we got all these dudes that are ready for a breakout this year, and he's going to try to keep everybody fed.
Yeah, and I mean, Tay said it. They act like they're Randy Moss and Tom Brady. Hopefully we'll see them tomorrow as they continue on some of the championship play tomorrow for Friday's action. All right, let's move on to the next pool play. Yeah, this is where things got really interesting because it felt like as many eyes were on Millard South, a lot were on Millard North as well.
And they 49 points in their first game, so pretty impressive start. They ended up going 3-0, winning the pool. Torrey Pittman, man, does he look good in a 7-on-7 setting. Just different kind of athlete out there, made plays both ways. Akili Heath Moody is a freshman there, made some plays for Millard North, or sophomore rather. Going into sophomore year, he's already got a Miami offer, and you can kind of see, okay, he moves a little different there. So for a young guy there, playing two quarterbacks there, but yeah, Millard North was really impressive today.
Yep, and I thought Torrey looked very comfortable out there too. And you mentioned Heath Moody. I mean, he was a standout of guys that I had a lot of people poking me in the back asking, do you know who that is? Yeah. And I got his name wrong like many times because he's so new to me as well. But yeah, I think Millard North made a lot of waves today, especially in terms of maybe how you position the rest of Class A and what you think moving forward. But a couple more standouts for you.
Yeah, well, Scott also went 2-1 in that pool. Wyatt Liebentritt, you talked to him, Minnesota commit. Nice, really nice athlete to bring back for them, working in another tournament at quarterback there. So we're figuring some things out there, but good showing for Scott today.
Yeah, and then wrapping up the day today too, Norris really stood out obviously in the finish here, but there are a couple of other teams, players, anyone else that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, North reigning champs. Obviously, yep. Darian Jones was a huge part of that. Last year he was, I think, the best player in the tournament that I saw. Yeah. No Darian today, but they still found a way to go 3-0, win the pool. Defensively, they were really impressive. The first game was against Norris was 12-5, I think, was the final score. Just not a whole lot of offense in that one, but North got the one touchdown they needed to get it done. Again, rotating 2 quarterbacks just like they did in this a year ago, but they looked pretty good. And then, like you said, Norris went 2-1, finished second in the pool. And Caden Gana. That's a name to know. His brother is going to Nebraska as a long snapper. Looks just like him. Really good athlete. He had a stretch there where he had a touchdown, then went and caught the extra point, and then picked off the Fort Calhoun on the next drive. So about 3 or 4 play span, he play that he made an impact there. So strong finish of the day for Norris. Yeah,
we've had plenty of coverage today on all of our channels, Hurrdat Sports, NebPreps, and Hail Varsity for all of the Husker commits that were here, and we look forward to seeing more of them tomorrow as we begin bracket play. There's going to be a championship and a trophy that's handed out here tomorrow, and I think a lot of teams are going to be very excited to be able to compete for that one.
No doubt. Again, a lot of talent. Everybody kind of positioned themselves now. They got to see a lot of the other teams now, and then now it's win or go home.
Yep.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid S all-wheel drive starting at $299 a month. Edwards Kia is on a winning streak. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2027 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive starting at $469 a month. Don't wait. Slide into savings with the Edwards Kia Summer Sticker Sales event. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. Finance the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe at 0% for 72 months. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Hyundai Kona SE all-wheel drive. Sign and drive starting at $287 a month with 0 down. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $379 a month, a platinum lease worth driving home. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV, starting at $399 a month, while supplies last. Don't miss your pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Nissan.
Looking for an easy win for the whole crew? Tuesdays at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill mean one free kids meal with every adult entree. Bring the family, grab a burger or wings, and let everyone enjoy the game day atmosphere. Great food, big screens, and something for everyone. That's a Tuesday done right at Hurrdat Sports Bar.
For Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps, Austin Jacobsen, Jacob Padilla hanging out with you as we have completed now the 2026 version of the NebPreps 7v7 state championship. Before we get to that state championship matchup between Westside and Millard South, pretty exciting day to begin, and it all started really in the quarterfinals as Millard South survived a scare against one of the best teams in Iowa.
Yeah, honestly, as good as the championship was, and it was great, the best game of the day was probably that quarterfinal win between Millard South, or that quarterfinal game between Millard South and Lewis Central. 41-39 was the final. Came down to a touchdown at the very end for Millard South, and Trey Taylor doing it again. I'm sure most people that are listening to this saw the kind of the one that went viral from yesterday, running around in a giant circle before uncorking the touchdown. Kind of did it again today with the game on the line. Lewis Central sent the blitz. He evaded it and then found Tay Ellis, who did play today after taking yesterday off. And boy, did he make a difference. But beautiful strike, again, with pressure on him to win the game. They were able to kind of run out the clock with the extra point afterwards. So, yeah, Millard South escaped that one. Everybody else in the quarterfinal is kind of pretty won pretty handily. We had Bennington over Lincoln Northeast, Millard North over Bellevue West, and Westside over Millard West, all by double digits there to set up the semifinals.
Yep. And that quarterfinal, obviously, with Lewis Central, Millard South, that looked like it had the most eyeballs on the game, too. A couple more viral clips that came out of there. Want to talk a little bit more about Tay Ellis before we get to that championship matchup. Man, is he a great playmaker. We did miss him in his action yesterday, but it showed very early that he has that connection with Trey Taylor.
Yeah, I think the first three touchdowns of, was it that? I think that game,
yes, yeah.
the quarterfinal game, were to Tay, and the fourth one was to somebody else, because Tay was getting a breather.
Yes.
And then he went back out there and got another touchdown,
Mm-hmm.
obviously the game winner. So, yeah, it's clear to see, like, that connection already. Like, you can tell how much Trey trusts him, the chemistry they have. Tay just gets open, and Trey knows that he gets open and knows where to put the ball for him to go get it. So, I'm really impressed by that combination today.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about some of those other quarterfinal matchups, a bit of a bigger spread between those opponents, but the semifinals got a little bit closer, but it was clear there at the end that it was going to be Millard South and Omaha West Side. From what we saw from the first day to where we saw it today, I thought Millard North distinctly looked different. Obviously, Torrey Pittman was not available today, but you can tell that he's not only a big part of their offense, but also their defense, and it did show against that loss. Yeah,
and Millard North getting there to the semifinals despite that with him not playing today. Good showing by them. They rotated their two quarterbacks throughout the whole time. I was impressed by Holden Laird, the guy that was with them last year. But I thought he played pretty well. Colin Haney made some plays today. Had some few other guys on defense make some really impressive plays. But yeah, it's too bad we didn't get to see everybody at full strength today, but still making it the run to the semifinals, I think, is a good showing for Millard North.
And kind of continuing on those pool day, or the pool play, rather, and some of the performances we saw. I thought Bennington, again, performed pretty well. Taibu Fakeo, up until the championship game, maybe had the throw of the day. I thought he had a fantastic day, and he got better as more games came about. And I thought Bennington really showed out and maybe raised a couple of eyebrows in Class A.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, Braylon Warren and Trey Taylor were the big names at quarterback coming into this tournament, but Taibo Fakeo, as far as Nebraska quarterbacks, was as proven and as accomplished as anybody else in this field. And it showed today. Obviously, in 11-on-11, his legs are a bigger part of his game. He's a really good runner at quarterback. But I've been impressed with his steady development as a passer. kind of throughout his career. And he was in really good command today. Like you said, one of the throws of the day, just dropping into the bucket over a 6'5" defender in the end zone. Receiver ran under it, caught it. Great play by both those guys. I believe Braden Kloster was on the receiving end there on that one. But yeah, Bennington, again, once you get 11-11, get everybody out there, depth, lines, all that stuff takes apart. But I think Bennington has to be excited about the quarterback and skill group that they've got coming back.
And then, of course, moving into the state championship matchup for the 7v7 tournament. I mean, it was the one a lot of people expected to happen, and the intensity definitely dialed up a little bit. I'm starting to think that the two teams don't like each other.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit there. I mean, the talk was starting from the very start of the game, and I mean, first drive of the game, Michael Benning broke up a pass in the end zone to force a turnover on downs, and was pretty hyped up about that, talking a little bit, and then he had some talk going back the other way as the game went on, so he started to see some of that competitiveness really ramp up. But great game overall. Westside, they backed that up with a touchdown to take an 8-0 start, and then they were up 14-8 as Millard South answered. They pushed back ahead. Then kind of Millard South took control from there, scored 16 straight to pull ahead by 10, and then it was kind of back and forth by there. Westside cut it to 2, 30-28. And then very next play, Tay Ellis, 40-yard bomb, one-play drive with a minute to go, and didn't leave that much time. Warren just had to take a couple of deep shots, and the second one got picked off just before time expired. So that's how the game ended.
You can tell when things get dicey for Millard South, that Tay connection is something that they're going to rely on. But on Westside's side, Tay Jenkins is a vertical threat in the passing game now, and I know that he's had wrinkles of that, but he is going to be a significant three-layer problem for defenses this year in Class A.
No doubt. Obviously, one of the best players, period, coming back in the state. Obviously prolific at running back, but yeah, he's fast and dynamic, and he's got pretty good hands out of the backfield. Another guy, Luke Weiss for them, I was really impressed with him. Kind of popped, really good size at receiver. Came down with some really nice catches, so they've obviously got a lot of talent at receiver to replace from last year's group. But when you got a quarterback like Warren, he's the kind that can make everybody else better, and we saw that this weekend.
Yeah, what other standouts kind of took note for you there in that championship match?
Another name for Millard South is Carter Margheim, tight end there. He's a basketball player. Didn't really play for them last year, football, but going back out this year. And he's really nimble for his size, moves really well for a big guy there. So he came down with some really nice catches. He was huge in this championship. Obviously, Tay was kind of the big combination, but he was the other one that scored the majority of their points. Came up with some big plays, whether it's extra points or touchdowns there. So, he was another standout, I would say. Yeah,
and physicality was at a forefront in that championship matchup as well. You could tell there's a lot of bumping. There's a lot of extra contact that came in this one, but it's definitely a Week 9 matchup we've already had marked, and I think it just keeps getting better and better as we get closer to the season.
No doubt. Excited to see a lot of talent overall. Got to see some really good players these last few days. Appreciate everybody that came out. Pretty good atmosphere with the fans here throughout the weekend, and excited to end it with a game like this, because 39-28 was the final. It was a little bit closer than that, like we said, but in the end, Millard South emerges victorious.
Absolutely, and of course, if you're looking for more coverage, you can find it all on our channels at Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps. Well, that does it for another tournament for the 7v7 state championship. We look forward to the start of the fall season. Camp Confidentials are just right around the corner as well. Jacob, before we let go for the next couple of weeks, any last words before we head into this really dark off season, before we get into what turns into the preseason?
No, I think fans should just be really excited about the level of quarterback play and football in general that they're going to be able to see this fall.
Absolutely. For Austin Jacobsen and Jacob Padilla, you can check out more from the NebPreps 7-on-7 state championship right here on NebPreps and Hurrdat Sports.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month. or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs, and Village Point. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $349 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. 2 great Chevys, 1 big June event. Slide into a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for just $399 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
Don't forget, make sure you give our friends over at Next Gen Male Medical a call, 402-614-9700. Their expertise, their bread and butter is hormone replacement therapy for both men and women, but they're experts in so much more than that as well, whether it's peptides, GLP-1s for weight loss, vitamins, hydration. They've got you covered no matter what you need to get you feeling your best. I've been on the GLP-1s for weight loss. I'm down almost 50 pounds total, and I feel great. And they're experts. Like I said, they paired it with the tesamorelin for me as well to increase a little bit of that fat loss and help out with my recovery and retaining muscle as well. If you have heard about GLP-1s, you know retaining muscle is a huge part of that. They can help you out with that part of the equation as well. It's 402-614-9700. Tell them DB and I sent you, and you'll get a free vitamin shot with your order as well.
At Battle of the Boneyard, when you said you've genuinely happy around players.
Yeah,
it's the biggest smile I've ever seen.
Yeah, so that's kind of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And did you see? So I don't know why, and I appreciate it. Like I really, really do. But for some reason, Ja'Cory has taken a liking to me.
Oh, okay.
So we're kind of standing, and he comes and he just puts his elbow on my shoulder. And we're just like talking. And I was like, oh, this is kind of how I am. I usually do this to other people that I like, and it makes them uncomfortable. Now that it's done to me, I'm uncomfortable.
You're like, I don't like this.
You're like, I don't know about that.
Ja'Cory is bigger than I thought he was.
Hey, listen, so he looks good. But here's the thing. So, everybody's like complaining and, the uniforms and the players are like they worry about all the wrong things, right? Do you know what he was saying to me? Because that was probably 7:00.
Yeah,
because had the semi started. Oh yeah, Domo just got beat.
Domo just got beat. So that was quarters.
7:30. So it was like 7:30.
Domo on that beat.
And I was like, Ja'Cory, I said, what are you still doing here? And he's like, man, we got to do the uniform reveal. He said, I have a recruit, but they're over there eating at Capitol. I said, I saw you this morning during your workouts. It's like, man, I've been here all day. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And I said, oh man, I get it. Like, it's a long day for some of you guys. And he's like, man, just hoping, man, it's like, just got to put in the time, man, if you want to reap the rewards. And I was like, I think everybody's starting to get it.
Yeah.
Right. Like right then and there, I felt like, really good player, could do lots of other things. Like, he's putting in his time because it's part of something that's bigger than him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, he went and he chopped it up with the recruits and the players. Like, those are long days because they're not missing. Saturdays are supposed to be relatively optional, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. You're either doing your rest or recovery or you're getting a workout in. They call it active rest, because Caleb had to move and he didn't leave the stadium until like 12:15.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I get it. Sometimes people think you don't know what's going on until you know what's going on. But this little dude comes bebopping in, telling jokes, still on his Knicks high, which, by the way, should be statute of limitations on that thing. Like, that was
Absolutely not.
That was a long time ago.
So this is a good question, actually.
And he's like, oh, I've been here since 3:30. I was like, 3:30?
I wasn't even there the longest. I think Bruntz was there since the big man camp.
So,
like, Bruntz was there all day.
but at least he went home. By the way, that big man camp was so you don't really know what you're getting. I'll peel this back.
Okay.
So anyway, he said 3:30. I was like, 3:30? I was like, these players were getting tours of the stadium at like 10:30. Like, I've been here all goddamn day. Like, 3:30 was when we took our first break.
Yeah.
I tried to get Knucklehead to eat, but he's like, nah, I'm good. Anyway, that big man camp, you never know what you're going to get really in terms of, it's 28, it's 29s, it's 30s. Like, it's young guys.
Kids. Yeah.
There's like 7 or 8 Division I caliber guys there.
Really?
And I think they offered like 4 of them.
Really?
And all the old Corey Brown, like, those guys were just talking about how surprised they were with the level of talent, because you don't really know. Like, some of those guys, the first time going through a weekend like that with the big man camp and then Battle of the Ball, like, it's clearly another revenue stream.
Yeah.
It's very good promotion, but the coaches, and you're also on you're on an OV weekend.
Yeah.
So it has to be super well coordinated, right? It's more than just, oh, here we go, I hate these uniforms, they're dancing again. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, man, when you're trying to win games, what else are you doing to put yourself in a position to win? And I think when you pre-sell 8,000 tickets to that thing, that's a good place to start to put in the coffers. But I am 7 on 7 out.
I like it in small doses.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I told the funny joke. It wasn't even funny. Remember I was telling you and AJ about Millard West and Trey and Tay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that would morph into Friday. And so then Friday happens, and it's all like, it's all over social media, web, whatever. And I park in a particular place in Lincoln, and I get out, and Coach Rule's about to walk over to Firethorn because they have an event. They have the recruits. So he's in the little strip in between the Cook and the new facility, and he's like, Micah picking fights with Trey? I was like, that's not even how that happened, but whatever. God is my witness.
Yeah.
And I'm coming through the deal, and it's in between. So I'm going in the back doors of the player complex. So it's in between the Cook, the old practice, the indoor, and the new stadium. My man Trey Taylor comes out eating his food with a spoon, giving me one of these. And I was like, ooh, who's watching? Who's watching? Oh, shoot, glad Mike isn't
You're
here.
like, oh, my kid doesn't see me, does he?
So I gave him a hug. It's very awkward. But you know me, I rock with Trey. So
No, I like Trey. Yeah.
But how about that?
I mean,
like bang, bang, bang in succession. I was like, this is gonna be a long day. That's when I saw little dude. I was just chilling in the corner.
You were having the time of your life.
That spot down there in the that corner.
It's a nice corner.
And I typically don't have to say anything to anybody, but then all you guys migrated down. I did talk to Bruntz and BC.
Talk about migrate. We were there first.
He's Tim Johnson thing right now. He really is.
What are you talking about?
Then EJ had to come say hi to
Christopherson and Bruntz were sitting down there the whole time.
That was their spot because
I had just been down there.
That's where the game was.
Yeah, I had just been down there, but I walked away. I saw you walking in the front door.
So you know who was there the longest? If not Bruntz, it was Verghese.
Well, that makes sense.
Because we had some fantastic talks about, because now he's on everybody's show.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about like the differences and like kind of how he got started and what he thinks. Like he's exceptionally bright too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Tim was explaining the teams and like all the players to me, and I just sat there and I'm listening to him. And I'm like, how do you remember all this? He goes, I don't know. He's like, it's just how my mind works.
It's funny too, especially how he got his start. He was originally going to be a photog for a team in Texas, and ended up being a van driver. Because the coaches got tired. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm not even supposed to be here. And then like the rest just took off. It was it's fast.
I talked to Tim for a long time on Thursday.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh, at
the Preps 7-on-7. We talked for a long time.
Did you like it?
Yeah, so I've been there before.
Yeah.
I wasn't there last year. I think CWS is a conflict, but I was there 2 years ago when it was at Papio South.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I like it. I don't have to deal with it to the same degree you do. So like in the small doses, I enjoy it. And I do think you can learn stuff. I mean, there's a lot that goes on there that I think people kind of dismiss. But like if you are looking for specific things,
I have to embrace it. It's better. It's better than I give it credit for.
Yeah, I think and obviously there's limitations to it, right? Like there's no linemen, there's no real running game. Like obviously there's limitations to what you're watching, but if you're just talking about the certain skill sets you're looking for, or even like competitiveness or attitude, like I don't know, I've compared it to summer league basketball quite a bit. I felt like I could get a lot out of summer league basketball. Like I felt like I could learn a lot about guys there, and I feel the same way about 7-on-7. If you know what you're looking for or are looking for something specific, you can learn plenty there. It's just you can't be like, well, I mean, there's no lineman. What am I going to? Yeah, I get it, man. Everybody understands.
Yeah. So
you want to talk about competitiveness and attitude? There was sure a lot of attitude going on at the Boneyard.
Oh yeah, like so I ranked it. I still think it's in order. Mm-hmm. I need somebody else that is involved in all of them, so this may be hard to find that person. I would still go softball, AAU basketball.
Oh, in terms of crazy parents?
But it may be 1A to 7-on-7.
Where do baseball parents fall in there? Because baseball parents are nuts.
So baseball is only from about 10U to 14.
Once you get into high school,
then it kind of settles down. Now it is awful.
Yes, in that range, it's
terrible. It is awful.
Yes,
there's no question.
Usually by 14, it's pretty clear, like, oh, your kid's not good. Like, this isn't happening.
Yeah, and I think officials would tell you the same thing, but it is.
I'll buy that.
Rico, were those parents losing their mind at Battle of the Boneyard?
It was kind of stupid. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like it was kind of dumb. There was one dad. I don't know if you saw it.
Was it the brother with the purple T-shirt?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay.
No, was he a dad or was he a coach?
He was your brother?
Shut up, AJ.
Because that man was
he was the light skinned. Well, that's everybody. He was the receiver that had the brilliant catch in the corner. That
was his dad.
Overturned. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He was recording everything. No, man. There was one dad who I don't know what team he was, but when one of the dudes was cramping up and it was like behind the end zone and was trying to go, the dad like walks up and he goes, "What are we doing?" He's like, I'm cramping. He goes, oh, you're cramping. He's like, you didn't break your foot because you're walking around like you broke something. Get out of the way.
He was that.
And I'm like,
that was the guy that got hurt against Dumbo.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And the kid's like, dude, get out of my face. And he's like, well, get up. We can't play the game till you move.
It was out there.
And I'm looking at him and I go, you're not a coach. You're not an official.
Yeah,
you don't work for Nebraska.
He's just railing on his kid. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say I get it, Kobe. I'm gonna get this out of the way early, and I'm gonna be done with it. Because Kobe said, "How does it feel about your kid just talking trash when Trey was just trying to dap him up?" That's not what happened. That is absolutely.
The clip of the video that's out there does not show a full picture of the situation.
No, and listen,
it's very short. It's a very short. Yeah,
I'm the last person that's going to defend my kid. So, and I'm not even going to do it now because he needs.
I mean, he made choices in that situation.
He needs to chill.
Yeah, he made some choices.
Like he needs to chill out a little bit. But that thing had been a long time coming.
Yeah, that brewed a little.
That started when they came to Millard West. Because even Millard West coaches were like
for passing league.
Yeah. And Tay was like, DB, you better tell Coach Mack. And I was like, tell him what? Like,
you guys aren't supposed to.
You guys aren't supposed to be here. This is him. This is their team. Like, I can't. And I heard him. He was like, well, I'm just talking to West Side's coaches. And Millard West was like, well, then go on West Side's side. And I was like,
he doesn't play for us.
Coach, my son, the Verghese losing his mind. So, the players were kind of mad. And then after the first collision, there was a pass broken up early, and it was contact, and it was Micah, and Trey told him, he's like, look, man, you're not your brother. That jumped the whole thing off.
Yeah,
and I'm not condoning that because still people are going to say a lot of weird things to you, but
probably worse than that.
But even the officials that sent me the text message. When he was like, hey, I heard him go back to the huddle and say they're in. And I think I think Bobby wrote that on 3. He's like, he's like, Trey going back to the huddle. He said he's in Micah's head because he had just seen him 2 weeks previous at Nebraska's camp too. And they talked in the end zone, but it was kind of more like boys. So like that thing had been brewing for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Trey's lucky he didn't get Victor Wembanyama. I'm in his head, and then
and the funny thing about Trey is he's really good natured.
Yeah.
Like he's not. He's pretty chill. I like him a ton. Like he's pretty chill.
I think there's and
even Ravi, because what'd you say? I was driving, so I didn't get a chance to choke you. He goes, "Oh yeah, I don't mind it. I just wish it was anybody but Trey." I was like, "Wait a minute."
I was going Trey. Like I wouldn't.
That's supposed to be your road dog.
Yeah, wait a second. Is Ravi defending a Millard South quarterback?
I'm defending a Nebraska commit. Let's be clear here.
What school is he currently at?
Oh shoot!
I think he's still at Carmel.
You guys are funny.
No, I think there's and I feel comfortable saying this because I think I was very much like Micah for a lot of my life. There's a lot of things like characteristics that are similar, but like there is at some point he's going to have to put a regulator on that thing to figure it out a little bit because there's
I've said that from the jump,
and I get it, right? Like there's certain personality to this day still, but I'm at least aware of it. To this day, there's certain personality types of people where they're not doing anything wrong. And I'm like, I kind of hate you. And it's a me problem, but I'm aware that it's a me problem now. When I was a kid, I used to think it was a them problem, right? I'm like, oh, they're full of bleep or whatever. And it's like, no, this is a me problem. I need to just internalize and own that as opposed to and I don't know the situation. Like you said, Trey seems pretty good natured most of the time. Like kid rides for Nebraska. Like I'm cool with it. And so I'm probably going to default to, maybe this is just a personality type clash here more than anything. But at some point, you kind of have to realize, like, hey, there's certain types of personalities that I'm just not going to jive with, and that's not their fault. It's just how I'm wired, right? Yeah. And that seems a lot like what's happening between Trey and Micah from the outside.
Yeah, and it's whatever. And Cap. It looked like it's the first time. Like he can be so stupid sometimes, but
The video that's going around doesn't do justice.
Like his sixth for the weekend for that deal.
I was gonna say he had like 3 on Thursday when I was there.
Even Dvorak was like, "Oh God, he's made himself a lot of money this weekend," and I was like, we'll see." But anyway, it's a them thing. It's a him not.
Yeah,
it's a him not being able to just stay in the moment kind of thing, which at some point he's just gonna have to work through.
Yeah, he's gonna have to learn. Like, I mean,
he just is gonna have to. The jokes that I tell about him all the time aren't made up. Like,
no, I mean that's how he is.
He's just unusually obsessed, and he can be
and petty. He's petty.
He can be mean spirited.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's why, like,
we're just trying to channel it.
I kind of
it takes a village, man. It takes a village.
I joke a little bit, but like I do see a lot of my personality in Micah. Like, I get that. Obviously, he's a way better athlete than I ever was. So
No, you don't, Cap. We're done. We're done.
So it manifests itself differently, but it's there's just like I understand when I watch him and like I see him interact with people. Like I understand exactly what's going through his mind.
I've said this a ton. Like we need I need a lot of different perspectives and a lot of personalities to help us corral it. Right. I make light of it because I see it every day, and I kind of know. I know exactly what I'm doing. Like I used to like.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I mean, I was this. Unfortunately, a lot the same. Right. So, like, it's just like as much as I don't have to. I told you, Callahan and Sip were like, "Oh, let's go watch him with Yelk," and I was like, "Nah, like, come on, man, let's go." And I was like, "Nah." You know what I mean? Like I try to. It's very hard for me personally, to navigate.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's not cool, you know. But it's like,
well, and there's a certain part of you, I'm sure, that realizes since, like you said, there's, we always joke like, he's the Kenny of your personality, like I'm sure there's a part of you that realizes, hey, when I was that age, if somebody had just told me this, I'm not listening. Like,
yeah, but it's so the downside of that is like you need every bit of that personality against like Midtown Boom or
absolutely.
Miami Raw, like because
that's the thing is I like the chip on the shoulder. It's just like you have to be able to compartmentalize almost.
Yeah. And a lot of those guys, did you like how sweet was Abrams? From
Abrams, he had the like red helmet on, right?
He was their quarterback. That wore the sunglasses.
Abrams for Boom.
That's going. Yeah, that's
Dude,
going.
He has a rocket for.
Hey, that was like his. Listen, that was like his 5th wardrobe change.
Oh yeah, he was changed. He was wearing shades the whole time. It was not bright in there. He did not need them.
Right.
He was wearing like joggers that were cut at the like right below the knees. Like Mans was.
Micah was wearing.
That's a thing now.
Yeah, I was like.
Yeah, but like Micah was wearing like pants at like actual pants. Like it was fine. But this dude had like. Okay, they weren't but they were like super loose sweatpants, but they were like right above his knees.
That's exactly what he was wearing on Thursday.
Right below his knees.
On Thursday, that's exactly what Mike was.
Yeah.
They're wearing like the 2006 Rafa Nadal pants, basically.
Yeah, and he had like the towel in his like tucked in his back, and I'm like, you're not getting touched. I don't know why you have that. Like,
dude
was chilling, but he was like, I mean, it's 7-on-7. You have all the time in the world, but dude was accurate and just dotting people up. Like it was fantastic.
I was pleasantly surprised. There was elite level talent. Elite. And you kind of knew, like, Jalen Hill, he's pretty thin, isn't he? He is.
Jalen Hill, he was locking people up, but he is thin as the pole holding these lights up.
So I think he measured in with a 73-inch reach.
Oh, geez.
I think it's like 73 inches. That's a smidge under 6'3".
Yeah.
Just long arms, long. Juju was pretty good. There's a linebacker. He wasn't busy, but Eli Harris was on campus, and I watched him and Dvorak. Like Eli Harris was funny. I won't even tell the stories, but you can just tell guys that understand the environment that they're in, but then really just want to play football. Like don't lose hope on guys actually making it about playing ball.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of those guys. I think they use that environment for like a necessary evil.
Yeah. No, I mean,
there's still a lot of guys that are like, man, when it comes time to pads, we're ready to roll.
I think there's a lot of people that like, and you talked about this with the uniforms or the dancing or whatever. It's like, just because they don't go about things the way you went about them doesn't mean they're not about ball.
And the funny thing is those guys are on like their however many hours that was, for certainly 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they had worked out that morning.
Yeah.
Like a legit workout of OTAs.
Yeah. It's not like they're doing this stuff instead of the work.
Right. It's in addition to.
Yeah. So like I have a real hard time, whether it's, like old heads or just old souls or whoever.
And even me, like I roll.
Yeah, I know.
But
It's
I don't
not
care
your
about
favorite
uniform.
thing.
But I don't care. Like,
yeah.
I don't care enough to have an opinion. The only thing there's a couple things I care about.
Yeah.
Number one, anytime you get a chance to create a revenue stream,
win.
It's a win.
Yeah.
When you can, I mean, they had 8,000 tickets pre-sold. They're like, so there's an OV weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Battle of the Boneyard. There's the event. And the OV weekend is already kind of scheduled in. It's a lot of moving pieces. You're here, you're there, you get this demo, you have the display out at Firethorn, like you have your dinner time, your lunch. And in the meantime, they're coordinating with the setup on whether they're going to be able to have it in the stadium or have to move it indoors. And then what are you going to do with, 8,500 people or whatever?
Yeah, if you have to move it indoors.
The logistics to kind of pull what they pulled off. That's like, I'm behind the scenes. I'm like, that's a headache.
Yeah.
So I appreciative isn't the word because it's not really me.
Yeah.
But I do admire the ability to work under duress without bitching.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Because there were lots of places it could have fallen apart between just getting teams in with the travel schedule.
Well, yeah.
And negotiating the matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's pretty fluid.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, those teams are pretty fluid up until you take the field, right?
Hey, I know Miami Raw, they're as good as it gets. It's like they had travel.
Trey played for last year.
They had travel
issues
because they couldn't get out because of the weather.
Yeah.
So then their schedule gets backed up. A couple of teams had guys that couldn't get there, and you don't want to scrap the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting guys to like fill in on the fly. I was pleasantly surprised by the Kansas City, the Nebraska guys really like holding their own
against the national guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah.
There was
good
There
players.
was one guy on one of the teams that it was during the break, right before they started like the quarters. I was listening to coaches talk, and one of the assistant coaches walks in for I don't remember which team it was, but he goes, "Hey, so-and-so has a visit to Texas Tech. He's got to leave right now."
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, all right, see you later.
Yeah. I mean, like,
And the coach is like, "All right."
You looked at Cotton from like Southeast, like he's way good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bolin, like those guys. Tate looked like everybody else out there. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm optimistic because you said you saw it and Austin said he saw it like Thursday, Friday out at WS. There's a lot of high end guys.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you brought up Southeast. Like I was sort of watching them in between because they were playing the same time you guys were on Thursday.
Yeah.
And so I'm like watching you guys. I'm watching them like going back and forth between plays. And I had to go and
they're better. They're better. They had to play us twice. They're better than we made them look.
So when they were playing somebody else, like maybe Central, I think they were playing a couple of, and maybe
how young are they?
Yeah. I think they were playing like Central and Trainer. And I'm sitting there and I don't know, like
Canberry's legit, isn't he?
Yeah. So I'm not seeing these. I don't know the faces yet of some of these other guys.
He's Central. He played with.
Yeah, no, I know Cam now because I talked to Tim about him. But like I'm looking at Southeast and I'm like, oh, they've got some guys.
Yeah.
Like they've got some dudes that are quality. And I know like Bolin just got like a Wisconsin offer. I think it was Wisconsin.
He says about 2-3 words. Wisconsin's going to be.
And then
I don't know what they're going to do with that staff this year if they win, but
it Jarvis?
Yeah, they need to get out of the area.
Yeah. You guys can move on. Move right on.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
like go on.
Just keep on pushing.
Go on.
Keep on pushing.
Man, that's why I'm like, come on, Nebraska, win. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well,
that's
people are like, oh God, it's 2020. No, man, 2026.
Yeah.
2026, and they know too.
Oh yeah.
Like that's their. Even Arch, he was just like, he's trying to get back to his office. I was like, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. You just feel like it's a. They know that it is like right now.
Time to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating.
Time to go.
It's just a ton. There's gonna be some guys. Because who do we have today? We got Sam.
We just have Sam, and then we've got D1 baseball, Joe Healy.
All right, so we got Healy, and then
At
tomorrow
9:30.
we're gonna grab, and we should probably get.
I think we've got Tim tomorrow because we moved him up since we're not on Friday.
Yeah,
and then I think we're going to talk to Abe as well after
and he's fascinating.
Yeah.
They will be the guys. They work so hard. Like I'm watching BC and Bruntz real time, laptops out, like walking, editing, talking. Hey, just got an offer. Let's get this. Like I mean, you talk about fluid.
Yeah,
those guys, they were working their ass off.
Yeah.
I just was like, that's a little more stressful than I thought because you see them and it's like. They're getting photos and they're all, it seems like the whole duck on the water.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. They're paddling.
But stuff was happening so fast. And it's like they were just on top of it. And they're going back and forth. It was just cool to watch the yin and the yang.
I always feel bad when I'm at events like that, whether it's, obviously I wasn't at Battle of the Boneyard, but whether it's like the 7-on-7 or whatever else, because it's like I'm just there to learn. Like I don't have to do anything.
You know what I like that those guys do?
Yeah.
When there's actual boots on the ground, they get everybody that pops. Right. So they're clearly not just. Sometimes I think when we label all recruiting guys as like a certain way, there are some guys that actually like pay attention to other than just what you read about.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, these are 3 guys I need to look at,
Right,
and then whatever.
right.
Like, if you watch the guys, and I think a lot of the people in our market are really good at this, whether it's Tim or BC or Bruntz or whoever else, is they're really good at being like, oh, that guy looks good, I should go talk to him. Or like, even if they don't know who he is or what his situation is, like,
and Bruntz doesn't come off like a football head, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He like, we kind of defer to him for baseball. He knows what he's watching.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He absolutely knows what he's watching.
He's been doing this a long time.
For sure.
Yeah.
But in an environment like that, and he's been to a ton of big events, but in an environment like that with rosters that are so fluid, like their ability to go get and collect information is fascinating.
No, they do it. They do a really good job. And it's fascinating to watch them work, especially when I'm just observing, right? Like I'm just wanting to learn about people. So like I don't have any responsibilities. I'm just like there for my own education.
It's not like they're printing out and handing you rosters.
No, you're
You know
like,
what I mean?
who's that? Like you're like going around to everybody.
You have what you think is coming and then what actually shows up.
Like you're going around everybody. You're like, do you know who that is? Well, I think it's him and whatever. And it's kind of it's a real fluid situation when you're trying to figure things out. And you're probably going to embarrass yourself more than a couple times going up to a kid thinking he's somebody that he's not. But what are you going to do?
Wait, what did Lee say?
You
gotta bold that for me.
He says, do you think the sibling rivalry part pissed Mike off the most, or just someone talking to him at all?
No, that's exactly what it is.
It's the brother thing.
There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, you could talk about his mom and he wouldn't be near his man. Or me, or whom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This doesn't and I mean, truth be told, Trey knows that because we talked about it at camp off to the side.
Yeah.
So I had to admit to Mike, I was like, he probably has a little insight there.
Either that or, there's a decent chance someone in his camp listens to the show.
Trey and I were just talking about that when we were watching Mike at camp.
Yeah.
Because Trey had a couple of his other guys in from Chicago that he wanted to see Micah go against. So, like, it goes back to just the clip.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like,
At some point, he's going to have to learn how to deal with that
yeah,
one way or another.
he's funny. He told on himself right away, though. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
like, I know, man. It's like, all right.
Got to get this thing figured out, bud.
Just feeling free to cuss, though, that's not going to fly around. Just, hey, man, it's still me. Like,
I'm still your dad.
yeah.
You need to chill.
Relax, bro. I'm fat. I almost can. I know we got to take a break.
No, you're okay,
'cause AJ gets pissed, but I didn't have the stones to
Oh
wear
yeah,
my.
I'm real pissed.
I see that look.
Preston.
I know Rico ain't gonna be mad. This dude, I watched him in all his glory this weekend, but I tell you,
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I didn't know whether to clap or throw up, but this dude is like the court jester.
What are you talking about?
It's, everybody loves Rico. It's like this little dude.
You talk about me and my two new best friends, Jordan Westerkamp and Emma Johnson.
My buddy.
Those are my boys.
I didn't have the stones to wear my Carolina gear before today.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I got ready to pull in. And I was like, fudge, man, if I wear it tomorrow, people are just going to be like, I should have worn it today, even though they had the chance to lose. I didn't wear it. I tapped out.
That's all right. You get if they pull it off today, you got to wear it tomorrow.
Oh, they'll be winning.
Got to wear it tomorrow.
At least Oklahoma showed that they like are part normal.
What do you mean?
Dude, this month and a half heater they're on is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They looked unbeatable.
Yeah, they did. It was especially like
even after 6 strikeouts after 2, I was like, I'm out on the deck ready to, I don't know.
Dude, after what was it? So after Saturday and then the first couple innings yesterday, I'm just like, oh, so it's just gonna be like that, huh?
Yeah. Just roll out your freshman trio and mow guys down.
Which is so wild, like with the season they had versus the postseason they're having. And I get, like growing pains, taking your lumps as freshmen, stuff like that. But it's wild, just like
and Skip is clearly one of the best pitching coaches in the country.
Yes, but like just the timing of having them ready to go at the right time is wild. Like just having them have it just work out perfectly where they like, yep, now we're good.
I was talking to Kugler yesterday morning, but before church, we were just talking about Father's Day and stuff, and I was like, damn it. It's like I'm about to be done in again by another Canadian. But then LaChance actually showed he was okay.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid S all-wheel drive starting at $299 a month. Edwards Kia is on a winning streak. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2027 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive starting at $469 a month. Don't wait. Slide into savings with the Edwards Kia Summer Sticker Sales event. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. Finance the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe at 0% for 72 months. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Hyundai Kona SE all-wheel drive. Sign and drive starting at $287 a month with 0 down. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $379 a month, a platinum lease worth driving home. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV starting at $399 a month while supplies last. Don't miss your pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Nissan.
I've made a lot of good decisions in my life. Perhaps the best lately is just being a part of what NextGen is doing, from, testosterone to peptides to hydration, just to overall health and well-being. NextGen has been fantastic for me. They accept most insurances, so they make it really, really easy. And I'm always, listen, I'm not the most fun to get along with, but these guys have been fantastic. It's not just a DB thing. It can be you too. Visit the folks at NextGen, 402-614-9700.
Mike, did you get a chance to look at my text I sent you?
Yep.
Did you have what were your initial thoughts when you're thinking of just guys in Nebraska high school history that you've covered, someone that if you could take the version that you were able to watch to cover that you would want at 7v7?
Well, a lot of those guys did play in this. But my first initial bang thought was Noah Fant, but he
good pull. That's a good one. That's a good one.
But he played in this, so
and then that counts. Yeah, no, throw them all out there. Give me like your seven. Yeah.
Baylor Shireman, Austin Allen, that and Honus, Todd Honus, that group. They actually
heavy tight end.
They won it. They won this event. I think the second year I did it. So Baylor was obviously dropping bombs everywhere. It's great. And then, obviously like it's quarterback plays like Jet Tamala and those guys, like they all participated in it. So and Carter Nelson's probably the one I would have liked to see in this environment. In this environment, that's probably the one that never did it. But
yeah,
what was the first year that you did this?
2014.
Okay.
Is there anybody like pre-14 that you're like, that would have been pretty cool?
I mean, my initial thought is like Eric Crouch and those North teams, but they wouldn't wouldn't have done this. But football changed, obviously. But yeah, my initial thought was like, Eric Crouch would be great, at this. Or
if
like
it's
someone
like a modern offense, watching Eric Crouch out here would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
It would be, that was when I was thinking about that question, I was like, Eric Crouch, like the first person that went in my mind was Eric Crouch, because it would have been fun to kind of see what they would do with those athletes that they had. So
the conversation actually started with us on Danny Woodhead, and maybe not the guy that fits the 7v7 mold like great, but I mean that would be such an intriguing guy just to be able to see what you could do with him just out on the field.
Yeah, especially the rules for that we play with here is you get one run a game. Or you can run as much as you want. So like maybe we'll see that today a little more, like people actually handing it off or a quarterback just going and running and stuff. So you don't see that very often in 7-on-7, but that's the rules. And frankly, like the rules are the same rules that Battle uses, because Battle used to help me with this event for a couple of years. So shout out to them. But yeah, I just use the same rules that they do.
Mike, when you're looking at the teams, right? I know we don't want to make big sweeping declarations in June about in 7-on-7 about what a team's going to look like in the fall, but was there anybody that surprised you to the positive or negative, or it's like, I wasn't sure it was going to look like that? Like that's interesting.
Yeah. Like, like your Millard South, all that. Yeah. Dominic Yancey for Omaha North, the quarterback, is pretty good.
Okay.
And he's a junior, and like that guy's got a chance. So he slings it around pretty well. Actually, both their quarterbacks yesterday did really good yesterday afternoon. So that was one as far as, a passing thing, because North isn't stereotypically a passing offense. But they did well. I thought actually Burke did pretty well yesterday afternoon too.
Okay.
And Bennington was like right there with Millard South. It was only a 5-point game. Like that's, if they were to get a defensive stop and how we do the scoring, like they maybe would have beat them. So, and that's, Ty Bufakeo as the quarterback there. So Evan Greenfield was really good for Norris yesterday afternoon too, I thought. So,
I was super impressed by Bennington. I was watching that Millard South Bennington game, and you expect just by names on the front of the jersey and the back of the jerseys for that matter, they're like, this probably isn't going to be close. Bennington was hyper competitive.
Bennington, they're moving up to Class A, so that would be. Yeah. I think they're going to be just fine in Class A, to be honest, because they won't have like the depth I think that they've had like your second and third if kids get hurt, things. But their top line guys, they'll be just fine. They'll be more than fine.
Yeah. And I was looking at Bennington's schedule just yesterday after I saw that performance, and I was right there with you, Mike, that I was like, I have no concern about Bennington. I think they will probably keep on doing what they've been doing, even if they're up a class too. That did make me think though yesterday, just because you kind of walk in, and I know how you explained to me a little bit how you set up the pool play and everything, but I think from an outsider looking in, you would see, okay, Bergen Catholic is playing Millard South, who Bergen Catholic actually stayed like somewhat competitive in some of that matchup too. Columbus Lakeview played with Millard North, and you would think, okay, these are probably going to be talent disparities, but out of some of the smaller schools that were there, which ones impressed you the most?
Yeah, I think Bergen probably had the biggest thing. But obviously they're good, and they do throw it around normally like when they play. So Seth, their coach, does a really nice job. And obviously they've been pretty good for a bunch of years here in a row. So he's kind of built that thing up pretty well. And they have good athletes around. So I think that would be, probably the one that sticks out the most in my mind. I see a comment. We do have a 4-second clock as well.
Yeah, the throw clock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is a pure ignorance question here, but I meant to ask you yesterday and I forgot, so I've got you here now. What's the blitz rule?
You can blitz one time per game.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
That's why we have little orange bean bags on the table by the scores table. And the bean bags are like, once team blitzes, throw the bean bag on the ground.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes plenty of sense. I appreciate that. So, are there any players that you saw yesterday that obviously we know like the Trey Taylors, the Braylon Warren, like we know those guys, right? But is there any players that either are young guys or, guys that might end up going like D2 or FCS? You're like, man, that guy was awesome yesterday.
Yeah, I think Carter Margheim is one of those guys from North South, the big tight end. That's actually their post.
Is he wearing 54?
Maybe, I don't know. He's their post player in basketball.
Oh, too, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He was the one catching all the fades?
Yeah. Yep.
That guy. Yeah, he had a really good day.
Not catch a fade like I want to do the
No, like literal fade routes in the end zone.
Yeah.
He was catching fades. They call you Jerome for a reason. Mike.
Austin, you know what that means, right? Like, I know you're a Western Nebraska guy, so I just want to make sure you know.
Mike, you can't say you're a Western Nebraska guy to me, because every time I bring up like, oh, hey, yeah, I went home for the weekend, you'd be like, did you know that I went to Sutherland for a year? I'm like, okay.
1 year.
All right. The man of many hometowns, Mike Sautter. Mike, I was curious because I was talking with JP yesterday, and uniquely enough, with the high school coverage that I've been able to do over the past few years, I have only seen Braylon Warren in brief snippets. I've never been able to really see full game action of him outside of like state championships or, kind of that sort. How has he improved to where he is now as a 4-star quarterback, a Power 4 commit to Missouri, and where he stands kind of heading into his senior year? What have you seen him do the most in kind of jumping his game to where he is now?
I think getting to that like second, third option, that more of just going to that second, third read if the first one's not open and being able to get rid of it and find it better. Because at first it was like one read, like I'm hitting that guy, but that was also when he's younger. So I think the maturity side has not how hard he throws the ball or, those sort of things. I think the mental aspect, I think he's really, really improved on.
And on top of that, too, not to make this super West Side pilled, but I don't think I'm alone now after what people saw there, too. And maybe this could be a Millard North argument as well, but which of the three between Millard North, West Side, or South do you think has the best conglomeration of offensive weapons? Did you get a good feel of maybe who has the better attributes there?
Well, Tejas didn't play yesterday, but I did see him work out a couple weeks ago. Without him, it's hard to, that's a big difference.
Yes.
So
Kylon didn't play though. So
Kylon wasn't for Millard North. Probably West Side right now. And I will tell you, like, Taggy is really good. Like, he's a great athlete. Like, obviously, he's a good baseball player. Was really good for them on the baseball field. Like, him just walking around in, like, shorts and a T-shirt thing, like, he looks very athletic. So, you just said collection of talent for, like, this in this setting. Without seeing line play, but just kind of knowing the names and stuff, who should be good and all of that, like probably a little bit to West Side too. I need to see that up close, and I haven't seen it. So I don't want to make any sweeping judgments or anything like that at this point. I need to see, that's why I go around to all the practices and stuff. But I think West Side, as far as like the depth of it is pretty dang good. Because like Bryce Johnson, Taggy, Bryce, Yasir Grigsby, Tate Jenkins out of the backfield, like that's those names right there are pretty good.
He didn't even hit Micah, who had a touchdown.
Right. Like you're not even getting to everybody. So do they have like a dude, like a guy they, like that? Probably not. Maybe that's going to be Bryce Johnson as he gets more comfortable.
As a receiver is what you mean. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So, maybe that's Bryce, but we'll see. Like they're pretty balanced, I think. So it's just a matter of, can that young defense for them take that next leap, which they might be able to. And Millard South, obviously, still they just got to get some cohesion right on offense, and the defense has to probably be a little better and get some stops.
So I'm glad you brought up the defense there, because I do wonder, obviously the defense in 7-on-7 is not the primary focus, right? Like, but I do feel like you can tell some things like who's covering well, who's doing some things like that. Did you have any takeaways? Like, it did seem like there's some work to do for Millard South defensively, which I think is probably an underrated part of what they did last year in terms of, like, obviously the offense gets a lot of the attention, and rightfully so, but that defense was on a different level last year as well. And that is probably the place where there's the biggest drop off for them.
Yeah. Their defense last year was elite. Like,
phenomenal. One of the best.
It was unbelievable to pair with that offense. That's why they were so dang good. Now I will say in this setting, obviously it's hard. But like their defensive line is going to be pretty good too. Like Tatum Wash is really good, can get to the quarterback and things like that. They'll get it figured out. I mean, I have no doubt in that they will get their defense figured out. I like that doesn't like Coach Urban is the defensive coordinator. I feel pretty good about what he's been able to do in his time doing that. So I think they'll get it figured out. They're just not there yet, right? So it'd take a little bit of time, but I don't have any maybe issues with that at all.
Mike, it's interesting, and it caught me yesterday because I was watching Scott and I realized this might be one of the few years where they don't have a lot of their, senior class that's coming back, or a lot of those bigger name profile guys. Obviously, you've got Liebenschmidt who's going to Minnesota, but how did you feel about them? Do you feel like they're still kind of figuring it out, or did you get a better evaluation of maybe they're a bit more maybe more cohesive than what I
think right now 2 quarterbacks is the thing. They're playing both. I don't know if they have a solid one. Terman's kid being in that group. Liebenschmidt is a pretty special athlete, like for sure. I do like, if you watch Scott yesterday, they'll do it today too. I mean, they don't throw it a ton. They're not like 5 wide or anything. So their tight end, he had his hand in the ground.
Yes.
Like, even in 7-on-7, because that's just what they do, man. Like they brought a spinner and like all that. So
I heard him. He puts his hand down on one of them. I heard him get up and he just goes, "Oh, that's hot."
But so they made they scored or something, and Heller obviously is another good athlete there, basketball player too. But Lucas, and so they scored, or after a win or something, and Coach Sherman's like, "Well, maybe I do know a little bit about how to pass it." I go, "No, you know how to pass it like a pitch backwards and like stuff like that in the option. Like you definitely know how to do that." So, but he always their offense is really evolved at Scott, but they still run some veer, and that will never leave, which is fine. Because that's their identity, and that's good. Norris, I would have liked to see Shane Holland for them, but he has a back injury. He's kind of sitting out the rest of June, so that kind of stinks. But today should be a fun day. We have who's here right now? Plattsmouth and Trainer, and then Platteview and Lincoln Northeast ready to roll here in a couple minutes.
Nice.
There you
if
go.
the referees show up, I don't see them yet. That's not good.
Sounds like you have to get out there.
No.
Get that bucket hat and whistle. Let's go.
Yeah. Make JP do it. JP doesn't do anything around there.
We've said this before. If I could never be a referee because I would be kicking people out so much.
Hey, listen, I'll give Mike this credit, and I hate doing this, but Mike had told the kids, he was like, certain celebrations are not going to fly today. I didn't see. We had no fights.
No,
we had. It was clean fun.
Incredibly well run, very smooth. Like I was very impressed. There were no dust ups, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was before. I mean, before every game, I did walk around and say, "Hey, we're not doing these sort of things. Have fun, talk a little bit, but we're not doing, certain things towards opponents." I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
So, So celebrate with your team, not against the right? No, it was a great atmosphere. It was a fun day.
I'm surprised Mike didn't say, make sure you hand the ball to the official after every play.
No, that's offense goes and gets the ball. So that's the rule. And hopefully today will be a little more intense though. Yeah. Like it is because you're playing for advance and win and things like that. So it'll definitely be have a little more fire to it, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got that championship intensity on a Friday. We love it.
Yeah.
The trophy here.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mike,
you have it. You have it with you, or it's down?
Yeah, Christian.
Can we see the trophy?
You got that trophy?
Yeah. Mike's always yelling at his kids. Whoa! Look at that thing. Well, it must not be that heavy.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying you're not that strong. Look at him. He's trying to calculate something to say, and he can't think of it.
I'm just.
What a hater.
Like that hug could turn into a double leg takedown real quick for you, buddy.
Your head got so much more red.
Sorry, that was the voice of God. That was Rico coming in. My bad.
Shut up, Rico.
All right, Mike.
All right, I gotta go.
We appreciate it. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, bye.
That is Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports, NebPreps.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month, or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $349 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. 2 great Chevys, one big June event. Slide into a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for just $399 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Tim, how are we doing?
Hey, good morning. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. It's good to see you again, Tim. I can't wait to see you for, I guess it'll technically be a third time in 2 days here when we get each other at 7-on-7 again.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to be back out there. I'll be heading back out there here shortly.
So I want to start with the non-Nebraska commit guys, at least guys that are still either uncommitted or maybe committed to other places. And since DB's not here, I feel like we have a little sneak opportunity to talk about Micah for a second. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Micah's super interesting. Obviously, I know DB's been taking him out to camps and stuff. About to head into his junior year. Obviously, he's gotten a little bit bigger, bulked up a little bit. What is your take on where he's at, even from where you saw him last fall until now?
Yeah, the growth's obviously like something that, the physical growth is there. And that's something where he looks completely different than he did in the fall, where like in the fall, I was like, okay, well, he's doing some good things out there, some flashes, whatever, but I need to see him grow. And now he's grown, and he's grown to the point where, you don't really need to squint to see it. You don't need to be like, I wish he was a couple inches taller to see it at the next level. Like you can see it now. You can see it. And so that helps. But two, I think he's really come along from a technical standpoint. I think, I didn't get to see him yesterday. I'm excited to see him today, but I did see him at the Nebraska camp a couple of weeks ago. And I think, again, like his ball skills, the way he triggers on the ball, I think he does just a lot that translates to the next level right now. But excited to see him in action today.
Yeah, the thing that I think I liked the most I saw from the fall and then again yesterday is that triggering on the ball, like breaking on the ball when it's in the air. He does a really good job of that. Need him to turn a few more of those PBUs into interceptions than he did last year. The sophomore, we'll give him a little grace there. But I was really impressed with that part of his game last year. And then we got to see him. I'll be interested to see when you see him today because he played quite a bit of offense yesterday as well. So I'll be interested to see. You talked about those ball skills there. I'll be interested to see what you think of him once you see him play a little offense as well.
Yeah. Again, like I thought I was pleasantly surprised. I think seeing him moving around at camp, just how naturally naturally he catches the ball. Like that is something where he has it in his game. So, excited to see him today.
Tim, I'm curious. I stood next to you a couple of different times, and I didn't want to pick your brain the entire time because I knew you were recording as well. So I didn't want to, get both of our voices in half of your action shots. But I was curious about how you evaluate when you're watching the 7-on-7, because obviously not in pads, kids are going to move a little bit differently and maybe they make some different types of decisions, especially quarterbacks. Maybe they can see it a little bit better when it's without the pads, without the lines in front of them and whatnot. But when you're breaking down, especially those skill positions, slot receivers, safeties, corners, what are you watching for at 7-on-7 comparative to what you watch for on tape when you get their game film?
Yeah, so I think with 7-on-7, one thing for me on the defensive side of the ball, I think it's a really good opportunity to see how some guys work through traffic, how they work through a lot of different noise, especially where when you see a team that is playing more zone. You do see a lot of teams play man and 7-on, but you do see teams that play zone, especially those type of teams. I would say those teams, you really get to see how these DBs match, work in traffic. And then for receivers, really like, for me personally, I think if you take 7-on-7 seriously as a receiver, I've seen what it does to your game in terms of route running, nuance, timing, understanding windows, understanding I would say, again, in a 7-on-7 setting, how to climb routes, how to find spacing. And that stuff all translates to the next level. Again, you're working on a much tighter space. And you're working against, 5 other receivers versus on the field, it's 4 other weapons, out there, or pass catches out there. So, there's a lot of touches to go around. And so for that reason, I think a lot of receivers, for me at least, I'm watching a lot with receivers is how they move, how they break. I think, the opportunities just to get reps more than anything. Wide receivers on DBs, those one-on-one reps, like there's nothing better for those two positions than just repping against each other. For cornerbacks, it's truly, I mean, like I've seen, Leonard Moore is the talk of college football right now going into his junior season here at Notre Dame. He's a 3-star coming out of Round Rock, but we saw him a ton on the 7-on-7 circuit playing up against top national competition. That got him better. That has him in the position where he's in now, where, he was a guy who, was playing on a national 7-on-7 team. But was primarily, again, a 3-star, relatively underrated. You had all these other different stars out there, but he was drawing the big matchups and he was taking them. And he'd just use the opportunity to get better. And so I think if you take it seriously at the skill positions, it really helps you, I think, understand, because football's a movement sport. It's a stop-start sport. And to understand spacing, to understand timing, to understand a lot of those different things, the nuances, I would say, to playing both wide receiver and DB, I think a lot of that can be developed and picked up through 7-on-7.
So I want to talk about both wide receiver and DB here for a second, because there's a guy that's in Nebraska's class that we typically think of as a defender, but is technically listed as an athlete on multiple recruiting services, and that's Torrey Pittman, who we saw play a lot of receiver yesterday, which we didn't see from him do a ton at Central. But one of the things I was really impressed with, I was really impressed with his route running. Especially down by the goal line, where it's pretty challenging to get open down by the goal line in 7-on-7. Like that's a pretty condensed area, as it is, I guess, in all forms of football. But also had some really good ball skills on the offensive side. Like, do you think there's any chance that he is like truly an athlete and his position's up in the air, or like this guy's a defensive back?
He's a defensive back, in my opinion. But I mean, that said, like look, I mean, and it's what we've talked about with him for so long. It's, from a candidate standpoint, he's a tremendous athlete. I mean, yesterday he was the best athlete on the field. Like, it felt like that, and we haven't really seen him perform to that level enough when we know he's capable of that. He's one of the best. I thought yesterday was really encouraging to see a guy who we all know and have seen it. Again, it's verified out there. He's done track, he's jumped, he's done all of that. Like, the verified athleticism is out there. So we know he's an elite athlete. We always haven't necessarily seen it translate on the field. Yesterday we saw it translate, I thought. And again, it's for him. You could still see on the defensive side of the ball, he's still kind of figuring some things out from a technical standpoint. But you like to see the dedication to the technical prowess. And then offensively, I mean, I think it's just a testament to the athlete that he is, that, look, he gets open easy. I mean, he's so sudden in and out of breaks. I think he's someone who, I had a video of him kind of just like streaking open down the seam for a touchdown. And look, yeah, that's a coverage bust, but it's also like, look, you're also not banking on that guy picking up that much ground as fast as he did. You're not banking on losing the leverage where you did, where, you're trying to stay on top of him and you just can't, because he picks up the leverage so fast. He's a tremendous athlete. And I was really encouraged to see the way he performed yesterday, how feisty he was, how competitive he was. Again, I think for him, something he doesn't get talked about enough, just because we don't see it enough, is his ball skills. Like, I think when he gets opportunities to make plays on the balls, he can make them. And I think he does. Like, he's a jumper. We know that he can go up in the air. He can high point the ball. We know he can make, kind of unique plays, just off the strength of his athleticism. But I thought yesterday was an encouraging display of, okay, like I am the best athlete on the field. I'm going to start performing like it.
Tim, where, and maybe it's Torrey, but is there somebody else that maybe from the first time or the last time that you had seen them in person, whether it was in a game, practice, 7-on-7, whether it was a camp, whatever the case may be, that had maybe improved themselves significantly from that first viewing to where they are now, to where you saw yesterday?
Tori's the first one that comes to mind. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there was anybody else that really caught the attention like that. I know I talked about it with a few of you guys yesterday, but like 2028 Lincoln Northeast DB Jarvis Lott's a guy I'm really intrigued by. Has a tremendous frame, technically sound. I like watching him move around. And again, I thought he had a good sophomore year, but getting to see him in person, I think he's filled out into his frame a little better. I think he's moving around a little better. Want to see a little more from him as a junior, but I thought we saw some encouraging steps forward this time around.
What did you think about this is a guy that is super young and had gotten some attention for early offers. What did you think about Achille Heath Moody from Millard North?
Oh, I'm shocked at Millard North question. Oh, who would have thought?
No, it's my second time seeing
a little bit.
Yeah, second time seeing him in just around a week. I was at Millard North last week to see him in practice. Saw him again yesterday. And look, I mean, he was an eye catcher last week, just moving around in practice, and then getting to see him yesterday actually do some like competitive, 7-on-7 stuff was really cool. I think a receiver for me. Did not expect the suddenness. He's very explosive off the line of scrimmage. I think does a good job creating separation in and out of breaks. Very, very sudden, I would say. And that's like, again, it's a football. Football is a stop-start sport. It is a sport where you need to be sudden in. I think for him overall, he checks a lot of the boxes in terms of what the frame looks like and the overall movement ability. Even if like long term he's a DB and we primarily see him move at receiver right now.
Tim, I know you've had plenty of time to evaluate Trey, to share your thoughts about him and everything, but did you enjoy your unique experience of watching the local media see Trey in person for the first time?
Yeah, that was cool. It was cool. It was cool, but it was cool to see him. I'm excited about. I will say this too. Again, I've seen him a good bit on the 7-on-7 circuit now. Working last summer with Raw. Of course, he plays with 24K on the actual 7-on-7 circuit. And I think you can clearly tell the chemistry still developing with his Miller South teammates, especially some of those guys. That it's clear. It's like there were a few throws yesterday where there was one I pointed out where maybe I'll post it, maybe I won't. I mean, he makes enough throws where it's like it's not necessary, but it's essentially a wheel route, and he hits it, and the receiver goes up to try and high point the ball. And I was watching that back yesterday, and it's like if the receiver just kept running, that's pin. I mean, one, the throw is on the money when the receiver goes up to go get it, he just drops the ball. But two, if the receiver just kept running instead of stopping to go turn around and jump and try and high point the ball hits him in stride. The ball hits him in stride. So it's some of that stuff where the chemistry is very much still developing with this team, but you can see that one, the chemistry is developing, and two, I think you already see just yesterday. I mean, the consistent velocity he gets on the ball. That's something that I've talked about with him forever, and I thought you saw that all day yesterday. I think you're going to see it all day again today. And it's not just pushing the ball downfield, it's sideline to sideline. An aspect of his game I think he's really improved upon, I would say, from his junior season to this point, is his ability to layer throws. I think he's doing a better job of that, and I think he's being a lot more intentional about layering throws. I thought we had a few throws. There was one to the corner of the end zone in particular, I remember, where it just kind of soars right over a DB, or just kind of just like goes right over a defensive back into the receiver's hands. And I thought he's done a good job of adding that aspect to his game, because he could throw with touch, he could throw with precision. I think he does a good job throwing, obviously with consistent velocity and accuracy. But being able to layer throws was an area from the throwing the football part of his game that I wanted to see a little bit more of, and we've seen that.
So if I'm not mistaken, you didn't get a chance to see Braylon yesterday, correct?
No, I did not. I'm excited to see him today.
So what are the things you're going to be looking for from Braylon today that you're like, okay, we saw this last year. Here are the things that I would like to see to know that he's making the progress that I want him to for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I want to see quick reads and quick progressions and getting the ball out. I want to see from him. I want to see, I would say, a lot more across the middle, maybe to the intermediate of the field. We know he's got a good deep ball. We know he's good underneath. Maybe want to see a little bit more of him at that second level, those intermediate type throws against the sideline, stuff like that. He's got a couple new weapons this year, so I'm intrigued to see how he works with those guys here this fall. But besides that, and I think for me, more than anything, it's It's that processing. It's being able to work through those progressions fast and getting to those throws. Being able to, I would say, create when maybe his first read isn't there. I just want to see how he's processing and how he's seeing things right now. I think that's the important thing for me. I probably won't be recording, but like I did yesterday with Trey, for me, the most informative way to watch quarterbacks in 7-on-7 is getting them from behind, because I like to see what they're looking at, and I like to see, from behind what those throws are looking like, because I think that's where you really get a good idea of accuracy and timing. I learned that watching Dante Moore, and it's kind of been a thing I try to do with quarterbacks since.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid S all-wheel drive starting at $299 a month. Edwards Kia is on a winning streak. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2027 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive starting at $469 a month. Don't wait. Slide into savings with the Edwards Kia Summer Sticker Sales event. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. Finance the 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe at 0% for 72 months. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Hyundai Kona SE all-wheel drive. Sign and drive starting at $287 a month with 0 down. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Hyundai. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $379 a month, a platinum lease worth driving home. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV starting at $399 a month while supplies last. Don't miss your pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Nissan.
Tim, as you get ready for your evaluation of Saturday for Battle of the Boneyard, we talked about some of these guys already just with the NebPreps 7v7 championship, but are there guys that you are really putting your thumb down on that you really want to see? Maybe you haven't seen for the first time. You're excited that they're in Lincoln?
Yeah, it's a good group of 28s in town. I'm really excited about the group that's heading to town. 24K, that's a team that Trey Taylor has played with for the last few years. He's not going to be able to play this weekend because He's going to be on his OV. There's compliance issues. But the number one quarterback in the 2028 cycle, Christopher Verghese, is going to be leading 24K at quarterback. He's going to be joined by Lorenzo McMullen Jr., the number 6 receiver in the country, Jalil Goli, an elite cornerback in the 2028 cycle, Keaton Fields, who's already visited Nebraska and is the number 3 corner in the country. He already visited. He was on campus for the spring game back in March. And then you also have Jalen Hill, the 4-star cornerback commit, going to be back on campus competing with Team TOA. He's not on an OV, so he's going to be allowed to compete this weekend. Midwest Boom, I'm really excited about this. Not Nebraska related at all. Midwest Boom is bringing out Israel Abrams, the Miami quarterback commit, down this weekend. He's going to be competing in Midwest Boom. And look, man, I saw Izzy a couple weeks ago at OT7 Dallas, or a couple months ago at this point, back in April, OT7 Dallas. It wasn't his best showing. He's had better showings on the 7-on-7 circuit since. I'm looking forward to seeing him just seeing him again. He's had I think he's improved over these last few months since I last saw him. So I'm excited to see the growth he's made to his game. And then NPA out of Tennessee, bringing in some top talent out of there. Maximus Curry is a 4-star receiver in the 2028 cycle. Jermaine Cobbins is one of the top corners in the 2028 cycle. Braylon Bedford is a top 60 prospect in the 28 cycle, one of the top safeties in the country. Jordan Hicks is a safety the staff really likes out of Mission Viejo out in California. He's already a blue chip prospect, a 4-star prospect the staff has an offer out to. And then Fast Houston going to be on campus for the first time. They're one that didn't compete last year, but going to be competing this year. A couple of names to watch with them. Carter St. Junius is a 2028 receiver that's pretty highly ranked out of Manville, Texas, down in Alvin. And then LaPorte, 4-star wide receiver Peyton Smith. Nebraska was actually the first to offer Peyton Smith. Now he's the number 11 receiver in the country, I believe. Number 11 receiver in the country, yes, in the 2028 cycle. Nebraska was the first to offer. They've been in touch, through his coaching staff since. Jamar Mosey's been down to visit him multiple times. He's yet to visit Nebraska. Nebraska has a chance when he gets to campus this weekend to make a big early move with him.
Tim, you mentioned, I'm glad you brought up Nebraska being the first offer there on a guy that ends up being a 4-star, because we were talking a little bit about this yesterday, obviously, with what you do when you evaluate guys, whether they end up coming to Nebraska or being Nebraska targets or not. But how often or how well has Nebraska done, in your opinion, on getting in on guys early? Because that was kind of a narrative a couple years ago with Rule, is they'd offer guys early. It would seem like a flyer, and then somebody big offers and they're like, oh, what a great eval. Has Nebraska continued to do that, in your opinion? Are they doing a good job of offering guys before a lot of the steam picks up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I still think you're seeing a good, and I would say an encouraging pattern from an evaluation standpoint. I think it's important. Running backs coach Edith Bartel was on a podcast recently, and I think he did a good job there of talking about it too, but of you separate evaluation and recruiting. You can be a really good evaluator. You can be a really good evaluating staff, be good at recruiting. I think the staff is still, I think, evolving, I think, as a recruiting staff, but from an evaluation standpoint, I think they do a good job. And I still think they do. I mean, you look at this 2027 cycle, just the class where we're sitting at right now. They were early on David Fuller-Runcho, who now an elite player, committed to Notre Dame, one of the top defensive linemen in the country. They were early to offer David Fuller-Runcho. At linebacker, Jordan Nelson, who is now happily committed to Texas Tech, the number 4 linebacker in the consensus. Nebraska offered him when he had 0 stars. Nebraska and Texas Tech right in there pretty early on. They were early on Prince Goldsby, now Ohio State linebacker commit, and so I think that, overall, Kobe Rhymes, they were early on. Blake Benton, they were relatively early on, even if that recruitment picked up in a hurry. I think they were early on Brandon Lockley Jr. And so you have your mix of guys they circle back on. I think guys they maybe didn't see the first time around. Tate Wallace is one in Iowa where it's like, well, why did they wait so long to offer? And then they finally offered, in the spring. That's one where it's like, okay, what happened there? But for the most part, I think across the positions, across the different position groups, you look at what Nebraska's done, and where they stand. I think I'm generally encouraged by how they've evaluated, what they've looked for. And I think even more so too, I think the fact that it's a lot of these guys who, when Rob Orich took over, when Corey Brown joined the staff, when Tyler Yell joined the staff, like these new offers that these new assistants made, Jeep Wade too, these new offers that these new assistants made when they joined the staff, these guys ended up being like 4-star prospects once the rankings started shuffling out. They were just early on some guys that maybe they emailed at their previous stop, maybe they got to Nebraska and turned the tape on, were trying to find sleepers and found this guy that, you know, at the time had 0 offers or 0 stars. But I think they've done a really good job, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, of staying early and evaling well. Offensive line, I think they're doing a good job as well early on of evaling early, getting in on guys. I think 28, you're starting to see that with some of the names that are popping up for them along the offensive line. They were early on some guys there, even prior to Jeep Wade getting on staff, and I think that's going to benefit them as they get deeper into that cycle.
You made a distinction, which I think is a good one, between evaluation and recruiting. How do you think this iteration of Matt Rhule's staff with, I'll throw Addison Williams in there. I know he wasn't added this offseason, but that's a guy that obviously is a high-level recruiter. You mentioned Jeep Wade, Corey Brown, Tyler Yelk, Rob Orich. How do you feel like this iteration of the staff is as a recruiting staff, if we do like their evals, as a recruiting staff, as opposed to maybe last year or the year before?
It's better for sure than I think last year's staff. I think they are for sure a step forward, just off the strength of having a young, energetic defensive coordinator who you talk to guys on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we've gotten multiple at this point. And my own body's spoken highly of him. Mato Mo spoken highly. Eli Harris. All these guys who visit. I mean, Jalen Hill spoke highly of him. Bryce Williams. All these guys talk about, they come to Nebraska. They already feel maybe good about Nebraska. But this spring, what's been really encouraging and insightful for them has been they sit down with Rob Orich, Nebraska's new defensive coordinator, and he's got a plan for them. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what visit it is. It's like, you know, for Jalen Hill, for example, you know, I mean, he visited back in March, and at the time, you know, it was still kind of Nebraska was still figuring out, okay, do we want to take this guy? Do we, how do we feel about the DB board? But Rob Orich sat down with him and laid out a plan of just like, here's what we want over the next 2 years, year one, what this would maybe look like for you. Year two, stepping forward, and here's what you will look like in the defense, and like cut film up of what it might look like next to a former player within the defense. He's done a good job. I mean, Ombadi was telling me that, you know, just sitting with Rob Orich, and then he just draw up a new play from scratch on the whiteboard, and then ask them, and they talk it through together of where Ombadi would fit into it. And I think just his understanding of the game, knowing that it's his system and he knows he owns the system, you know, I think just off the strength of that, Nebraska's gotten a boost on the defensive side of the ball, and it clearly shows. I mean, look what they've done on the defensive line here this cycle. But I think too, Corey Brown, the relationships he's building. Again, we're early. We're very, very early in the 2028 cycle, but I've been doing some early outreach with some of these 2028 D linemen. And it's been a thing pretty much from the jump of hey, I'm in touch with Corey Brown. I had a D lineman hit me up last night who said, hey, just a heads up, I know we haven't texted. Like, I texted him on Tuesday just to see if Nebraska had been in touch. And he said, hey, I know we haven't been in touch since Tuesday. I just wanted to let you know Nebraska's been in touch every single day. Corey Brown's been in touch every single day. And we're talking about like 4 or 5-star D linemen here in the 2028 cycle. He's not really backing down from any fights. He's got some strong relationships here. You look ahead to 2028. Kellen Hall is the number 1 D lineman in the 28 cycle out of Louisville. And he's been texting. I was texting with him. You know, he's yet to visit Nebraska, considering a visit in the fall, but he's known Corey Brown because Corey Brown's been recruiting him since he was at Miami of Ohio. Again, it tells you a little bit about Corey Brown, that he's going up to a guy who, even at a year ago at this point, was clearly a blue chip type prospect in the 28 cycle. And saying, hey, I'm with Miami of Ohio. I want to make my best case to you. He doesn't really back down from any of these recruitments. And I think that'll help Nebraska. So, yeah, I mean, defensively, I think they've taken a step forward. Offensively, Jeep Wade, you've seen a solid boost off there. EJ Bartel, I think, is an established recruiter who, he's done good work. He knows what he's looking for, and he knows who he wants. I think per cycle, I think he's just been given kind of the keys to do what he wants with his position group. We're still kind of in wait and see mode with Tequila Shorts, who's had some nice wins, but I think has an opportunity this coming weekend with Khalil Taylor to really pick up a big win over Penn State. So Tequila's one of those, I think we're in wait and see mode. I think he's done a good job overall, but yeah, I mean, relatively doesn't have like a true 4-star win on the high school level just yet, but has a chance to pick that up this weekend. We're coming out of the weekend, I would say, with Khalil Taylor, who won't announce till July 6th, but Nebraska has a chance to make a big move in that recruitment with his OV this weekend.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $349 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. 2 great Chevys, one big June event. Slide into a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for just $399 a month. $0 down with your first payment due at signing. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
Are you caught up from this weekend, man? Watching you work was a kind of a thing of beauty, man. I get it. You do it all the time and no big deal, but to watch you and BC collab under duress with rapidly flying bullets was pretty fun to watch.
Duress? Yeah,
seemed like a lot was going on, man. You guys were collabing and typing and is this right? And let's get this out. And they've got an offer and he's on the offer list and he's on the roster. Like you guys were moving at a high rate of speed.
Did you notice he was up in the catbird seat there for a little while, up in the crow's nest, pointing people out?
He did like to change his vantage point. He went from ground level to eye in the sky. I was like, okay, BC, I see you guys.
Yeah, he's a little like Waldo in those settings. You never know where he is, but he's always around. So yeah, it was a good weekend. It was felt like a good finish to like June in what June was. And I don't know, like kind of the back-to-back of like, your guys' event plus the stuff in Lincoln. I thought that was actually a pretty good finish to June. Not often you get to see three elite 11 quarterbacks come to you. So that was kind of cool.
Bruntz, as you're kind of looking at the June as a whole, you mentioned this was a good cap off to it. Like, is there, like, in a realistic world, is there much that could have gone better for Nebraska over the last 30 days?
No, yes. Like, you could have, maybe somehow you flip Ahmad Hudson on that trip, but I don't know how likely that was. But I mean, look at the volume of commitments that Nebraska got, and not even just in June. Like, if you basically start mid-May to, the last weekend, they filled their class in a way that they really needed to. They were able to close on some targets that they'd been in on for a while. They, refound a couple guys at a camp setting that earned offers and are now part of the class. I thought that the overall quality of the teams and the prospects that were at their Saturday night event, I thought it was better than last year. And I think that in talking to, guys that run those programs, those 7-on-7 programs, there were a couple of things that I kept hearing that might seem small on the surface, but will keep them coming back. Like, they talked a lot about how well run it was. And I would not take organization for granted in situations like that. I mean, think about it. Like, you're set up for this huge event. You're trying to get fans to come out to claim these free tickets and really kind of blow the event up. And it's just absolutely pissing rain all day. And you have to completely pivot and stay organized and stay on time. Like, I heard multiple coaches say, like, wow, they're actually staying on time on this thing. Like, which seems like, well, yeah, sure. But that those types of things will keep those teams coming back. And I think they built on what they'd done, the year before. So I think that's a positive. And I think for as long as Nebraska wants to do it, and as long as Adidas wants to stay involved with it, I think that event is going to continue to be something that you can kind of build your summer around if you're Nebraska. So,
even little things, Bruntzy, like just watching them kind of rope off one end with the people that have RSVP, they like turn it into a small retail shop. There's gear you can buy. I was just like, they brought a stage in. They did stay on time. They had to coordinate the videos. I agree, because going to some of these things that I've been to, and it does get off schedule and it does drag. I don't know, man. I what's it have to do with winning? Probably nothing, but everything, right? It's a microcosm of, I think, how he wants to be able to function under duress.
Well, and yeah, and the thing is like take it from the perspective of like a 7-on-7 program. Like, some of those teams are like bringing guys in from Georgia, bringing guys in from Florida, bringing guys in from California, and they're based out of like Texas or Georgia or a completely different state. Like, there's a lot of lifting they have to do to get a lot of those kids to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I think just the organization of everything, plus the level of talent and the fact that it's on a campus with some pretty darn good facilities, I think all that matters. So I think they've really found something. I mean, you hear from people at other schools that last year, I think, were kind of surprised at how much Nebraska had kind of thrown into that event and how big it was. And I think Nebraska improved on it this year too.
Bruntz, are you surprised at all that other Adidas schools aren't kind of getting involved in stuff like this? I mean, it seems like all positives for Nebraska, and maybe it's just the logistics of it that are difficult to work through, especially in a busy month. But it seems like a net positive, or is it just because Nebraska can be difficult for some of the elite recruits to get to, that this gives them an in a way that other schools maybe don't need? Like, I guess I'm confused why other people don't try this.
Well, other schools do it, just not on that big of a level. Like, I mean, it's not an Adidas school, but like I know Georgia had like their 7-on-7. They do one, and they get it. It's more that's more of like the high school team focused. And why other Adidas schools don't do it, I'm not sure. There's probably stuff going on behind the scenes that's yeah.
Well, Bruntz, it's hard because I'm watching, Nebraska's support staff, even the details of flight change, right? Like Miami Raw was late getting out, and so they have to shuffle the schedule, or a team's going to pull out because they're missing 3 guys, and Nebraska gets them 3 guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, no, don't cancel. Got a couple of guys waiting in the wings that we want to see. Can you play with X, Y, and like just the move, how they move the chess pieces behind the scenes is fantastic. It's why everybody's always wired up and they got their walkie-talkies, and just coordinating the stress, I think, is
you're right.
Underappreciated. You know what I mean? It's hard to pull off.
Yeah. Well, I think that's I for whatever reason, I think Nebraska and Adidas have kind of moved forward with that first compared to a lot of the other Adidas schools. And I think that's a big piece of it. I think you're right, Damon. Like, it does take an army of people to make that event happen. I wonder, I mean, not knowing what it looks like at other Adidas schools, like, is there enough space for an event like that at those places? Like, I mean, Nebraska was, they've got the stadium, they've got the Hawks, they're running in the Cook. Like, you've got 2 indoor practice facilities within a quarter-mile walk of each other. Plus, if you needed to, I mean, I guess you could, have stuff going on one of the side fields if you needed to. I mean, like, it feels like Nebraska would be a little bit more well-tuned for an event like that, just because there's so much space and the facilities are what they are.
It's weird to watch them walk past the grass field, right? Two fields there, and the turfed facility that connects to the new facility. Like, they walk past 3 other areas.
Yeah,
I
hadn't been in the Cook in a long time, and
it made me nauseous.
I actually remember, I know the last time I was in the Cook, because Jordan Westerkamp told me the last time he was in the Cook, they did a pro day in there.
That's where we had ours.
Well, this is more recent than that. So,
you're old, DB. No bleep, Bruntz.
He said it was 2016. I think it was his senior year. They did pro day in the Cook for some reason, and I'm pretty sure that was the last time I was in there. It's like walking back in time when you go in there versus what Nebraska's got at the other spots. But I mean, that's the advantage of doing it there, right? Like, you have like a full, 2 fields that you can run that are there if you need it. So it's that might be part of it too, Ravi.
Bruntz, anything else on Battle of the Boneyard before I change gears here? Anything I missed?
Oh, the lineman camp, maybe.
What's that?
You can see big man camp at all?
The big man camp.
A little bit. I thought that was actually that was a good addition, I thought, to what they did with their whole camp schedule, because they did the padded one earlier in the month too. And if you're going to have programs like Sound Mind, Sound Body in there, they got line talent too. They can come with them. And, they brought a lot of guys. There were guys up from Oklahoma. I mean, there was only, I want to say, like 40 or some prospects that were in town, working out and going through the camp, but there was a lot of quality there. And I don't know. I mean, I think if you can run those things well, I think if you have enough connections, which obviously Jeep Wade and Lonnie Teasley do, I think you can have a successful event like that kind of around it too. And I think guys will show up for it. That was a thing too, was, you kind of look at the numbers there and it's like, there's not a ton of guys here, but, I thought they did a pretty good job with that. Nebraska's tried to do that in the past over various coaching staffs with the big man camps with, hit or miss success. I'll be curious to see if Nebraska can continue that one, because I thought for a first run, it was pretty good.
Yeah, and I think it even caught them off guard, Bruntz, with the numbers, and then like while the real-time evals are going on, and then they're making offers. Like I think they were pleasantly surprised with the recruitable talent.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. I mean, I just kind of looking at who was there. I think, like I said, I think if you can leverage some of those programs that also just are not only 7-on-7 guys, I think that's huge. And actually, the first big man camp that they had, you had like a huge group of guys out from Colorado. I mean, maybe you time that up better and have those guys come for the second camp if you can, and kind of grow that thing a little bit.